State of New California notice to all Californians. This is grievance number 60. It is March 19, 2019. We are in Vista, California at the county courthouse. New California is a new state in development exercising its constitutional right to form from the state of California. The process to form New California is authorized and codified in Article 4, Sections 3 and 4 of the United States Constitution. Statement of intent. The citizens of New California have decided to remedy the abuse of power by the government of California by exercising their right to form a new state provided in the United States Constitution, Article 4, Sections 3 and 4. We are determined to live under a state government in the United States of America and under the Constitution of the United States. New California Declaration of Independence, January 15, 2018 states, whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government. What a long trend of abuses and acts to seize and hold the people's power without legal authority and pursuing invariably the same object that clearly demonstrates a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Preamble of the new California State Constitution states, we, the representatives of the undersigned counties within the state of California, do acknowledge and humbly invoke the favor of Almighty God for continued civil and religious liberty to ourselves and our posterity. First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The counties of New California bring forward 95 grievances to be announced in public on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Statement of New California Grievance number 60, Declaration of Grievance, Statement of Facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government is in direct violation of the following. United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. United States Constitution, Article 6, Section 2. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Complete lawlessness is the order of the day. The California Socialist government, the socialist monoparty government, along with socialist county and city officials and party apparatchiks, are now calling for complete lawlessness as they engage in the destruction of the state of California. The socialist governor of California has now called for the suspension of the death penalty for over 700 vicious criminals who are convicted by the California courts for their crimes. Ignoring the will of the voters, the socialist government used dictatorial powers to, in effect, declare these vicious criminals innocent and, in fact, persecuted victims by the criminal justice system. The California Socialist government signed an executive order that would place a moratorium on the state's death penalty, according to his office. The Socialist governor then used his executive authority to halt the use of the death penalty. The Socialist governor's office detailed a plan to halt the death penalty for all 737 vicious criminals on California's death row. It's the nation's largest. The Socialist government stated, the governor stated, here is the bottom line. Our death penalty system has been, by any measure, a failure. It has discriminated against defendants who are mentally ill, black and brown, or can afford expensive legal representation. It has provided no public safety benefit or value as a deterrent. It has wasted billions of taxpayer dollars. But most of all, the death penalty is absolute, irreversible, and irreparable in the event of human error. The move comes as a judge was expected to rule on California's recently submitted execution protocol to establish a constitutional method of lethal injection. A ruling in favor of the protocol would have reopened the door to executions. California's last execution was in 2006. The California Socialist Governor's execution action will include a reprieve for all the state's death row inmates, a withdrawal of the state's lethal injection protocol, and immediate closure of the execution chamber at San Quentin State Prison, according to the statement. The Socialist Governor declared the moratorium does not mean anybody will be released and have sentences altered under this action. Using irrational thought and racist reasoning, the Socialist Governor is all but ignoring the rule of law and is acting outside his legal authority without the consent of the voters or the legislature, and in effect acting as a third world dictator to further the expansion of criminal cartels. The new pain the socialist dictator has now brought to the families of the victims of some of the state's most vicious criminals directly points to the violations of Article 4, Section 4, and Article 6, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. More importantly, the socialist California governor has demonstrated he will continue a long train of abuses of the law on his way to create a society in which criminal behavior is celebrated and encouraged that will result in the breakdown of the rule of law. New California State will not tolerate the rise of the totalitarian. Insurrection. The government of California, the current governor, and the monoparty system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that governs the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion, acts of secession. Therefore, the California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor has usurped power, has created a reign of terror on United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America and thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting communist governor of California, the monoparty legislature, and the local elected officials is evidence of abdication of the responsibilities of authority and sovereignty over the state and citizens of the United States living in California. Prayer. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 and to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings. NewCaliforniaState.com is the website. The phone number is 877-828-2753.